Hi guys, welcome back to the art room. It's Mr. Grunman, and today I'm going to show you how to draw our Section Hawks logo. So follow along with me and I will show you how to do that step by step. So let's get started. Okay, so I've got a piece of paper, and what I'm going to do is the top of the Hawks logo is kind of a round shape. Now, not like a circle, but kind of an arch that goes like you're drawing the top of an eye or a top of a football. So it's in that shape, kind of like that. So you're just going to kind of sketch that out lightly. And we're going to change a few things on it, but that's the basic shape. And then the bottom part of it kind of comes down in an arch to the middle. So here's the middle, right like this, and it comes down, and this part is shaped like this. And the other part kind of comes up first, and then over to where the beak is going to be on the. So there's kind of like a V if you're drawing a bird flying in the air, like some people do, like that. On the bottom, it's going to be like this. Okay, so that's the basic shape of the logo. This might flatten out a little bit more, and then this is where the beak is. So right here, we're going to make more of a hook. We're going to curve this down like this, and this part right here, I'm going to make this darker with a Sharpie so you can see it. This is going to be the beak, and I really like where that is, so I'm going to leave that right there. And the bottom part, I like to do things in pencil first because I might make a mistake. Even Mr. Grunman, who's been doing art for a long, long time, makes mistakes. I make mistakes every time. So I always use a pencil first. So then we're going to draw the bottom part of the beak, and then that comes down and it meets with the bottom part of the mouth or the beak. So it's going to look like that. So again, I like those lines where they are, so I'm going to go ahead and make them darker so that you guys can see them. And this line looks really good, so I'm going to darken that as well. And then this one is perfect the way it is as well, so I'll darken that so you can see that a little better. Now this top part, we're going to make a little differently. We're going to make it more like a lightning bolt. I don't know if you've ever seen the Los Angeles Chargers. I always remember them as the San Diego Chargers, but the Chargers logo has like a lightning bolt that goes across, and it's in that arch. So this reminds me of that. We're going to go more than halfway. We're going to go right about here, and we're going to make a little zag that comes down into, and then we're going to go about halfway to the bottom, and we're going to make another line that comes down like this. And then this one will, so if the forehead here kind of comes up like this. So if we connect those lines, we're going to go zig, zag, zig, zag, and the last one like this. So you should already start to be seeing kind of this bird's head shaped logo. Now, the next thing we're going to do is there is a cheek, or the part of the head that goes into the feathers, and that is like a backwards letter C, and it's right kind of in the middle. Again, it's going to be right here, so it's going to come right about to here, and it comes like down about the middle of this beak and the neck, and so it goes up. And it's actually connected. If we connect this line over like this. So if we continue this last zigzag here and we bring this in and we have it parallel to that, that's where this letter C should connect. Backwards letter C, like this. Okay, so I'm going to make those lines permanent. I'm just going to connect this back to there, back to that line, and then this is the round. I call it a cheek, but it's not really a cheek. It's kind of like the back of the head. Okay, so we're making sense here. Now we're going to make a line that divides this beak from the head. So we're going to make a line that kind of goes up and connects with this line right about halfway here, and it comes down and it goes about halfway to here as well. I like to use fractions. Half is a good, because you can always look at something and say, here's the top, here's the bottom, here's about halfway. And that's about where that's going to come. And then this is going to come back all the way back here like this. And then it's going to go down like this. And that's kind of a stylized way to make the beak separate from the head. So we've got those lines there. Now, what are we missing? The main thing that we're missing is an eye. So, where this line here, then we're going to make a little curve that goes right to the corner of this. So we're going to connect these things with a curve. And this is going to kind of make, I'm doing this with a Sharpie, so I'm having confidence in what that's going to be the upper part of the eye. It's going to kind of make it look like it's mean or fierce. Okay, and I'm going to thicken some of these lines later on. But then we've got another line that's going to come, this is going to be the eye. And it's going to come around here. I'm going to do it with pencil again. It's going to come around, and then it goes all the way up like this. We've got a big eye like that. It's just a half circle. So I'm going to make that permanent. Okay, so now we've got the basics in here. In the middle of this, we're going to have an eye pupil, but to make it a little more like a bird, we're going to make it pointed like this. So we make these two lines like that, and we're going to fill that in. Now the last part of this is there's going to be 3 lines here that make it look like feathers. So we're going to go 1, and they're going to be parallel to this. So parallel means it's like right next to it in the same direction. And then 2 is going to be like this. And then 3 is kind of a small one. So they kind of line up this way, but it's smaller because it's coming out from that line, so it's not going as far. So those 3 lines like this. So we're going to connect those. We're going to go 1, or trace them. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. So that's basically the logo, very simplified. Now, we've got to do some things to make it a little bit more, pop out a little bit more. So I'm going to show you where we're going to trace some things. We're going to make all these lines a little bit thicker. So we're going to just go over them to make them thicker so they stand out more, like this. And this part of the beak, we're going to make it much thicker in some areas, and we're going to add a little zigzag in there. And this comes all the way back a little further. And we're going to fill these in. When I say fill them in, it just makes the black line thicker. And this comes to a little bit of a point here, so I'll try to make that come to a point. And then we can add a little hook here as well, like a little bottom of the beak like that. Just makes it look a little bit more strong and fierce. I keep using that word fierce, but I think that's what a hawk is. It's kind of a predatory animal. And we're making that thicker. And down here, we're gonna bring this and we're gonna curl it around, and we're gonna make this a lot thicker down here. So we're gonna really add to this line. See how I'm doubling that up and making a second line, and then when I color that in, it's a much thicker line. I'm going to do the same thing up here. I'm going to make this come out, and then I'm going to double that up, put a line right next to it. I'm actually going to fill in this whole area. Look how thick that black line gets then. And then this one's also going to have a little bit more thickness to the line. Like that. This one gets a little thicker up here. And then going back like this. And then it connects. These ones here also, especially where the zigzags occur, they're going to be a lot thicker. And we're actually going to make one of the lines come in like this, so it follows that, but it's a little farther away, and then this comes down like this and it connects. So we're going to fill in all of this, and then we're going to fill in all of this. Gets a little bit confusing, so if you need to pause and look at it and try to figure it out yourself, that's totally fine. And then this, we already thickened this up, and this goes back a lot. And it gets thicker towards the end. So that's really all there is to that. And then these start skinny like this, and then when they go back, they're going to get a little thicker like that. Same with this. It's kind of like tiger stripes, thicker and thicker. And then you can color those in the middle. Okay, and then the last thing, well, one of the last things is this starts skinny, so you leave it at one thickness, but then as it goes back here, you're going to start to make it thicker. Okay, see how I did that? So now when you fill in the middle, it looks like it goes from thick here down to a skinny point there. And then we're just going to add a little bit to this. These just make the lines stand out a lot more. If you look at logo design or graphic design, many logos for teams or schools or colleges, they have nice bold designs that are easy to recognize and easy to use for things like t-shirts. So I'm going to erase any of the extra pencil line I have here, clean it up a little bit, and basically this is the Section Hawks logo. So if you have a little extra time and you want to try to draw that on your own, it's not the easiest thing in the world to do, but if you follow those basic shapes, the curve first and then the other two curves, and you follow those basic shapes, it's pretty easy to make that logo. I'm going to color this one in, and I'll have the picture of the colored one on the front page of this video. And so if you want to color it in that way, you can. All right, well, thanks a lot, guys. I'll talk to you soon.